What does student engagement with data really look like? Last fall, we spent 2 days with Michelle Wiley, an instructional specialist at Phoenix Central School District in New York State. We went from classroom to classroom with Michelle as she helped kids understand their MAP growth data and get excited about reaching their goals. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at how she works with students and teachers.
All right, want to get started? The students themselves have such a large investment in the test, the dates we take it, how they take it, their outcomes, and what it's used for, that I think that has only happened because they're part of the conversation as to what it means. So I highlighted a couple things though. I think I highlighted the time yellow, your achievement pink, and then your strength is orange.
Green and 170, 180, 190, 200.
So yeah,
210 is in blue.
so it shows you where
So
you
it shows you
like where you want to go.
And what color you're in.
Yeah, and it shows you like where you can grow, right?
Yeah.
Yellow was on track. I think the quote was, "You're on point." I spend time, especially with like grades 1 through 5, talking about what the colors mean to them and what it looks like to be a blue. What does it look like to be yellow? Like what qualities or things are you demonstrating? Yes, ma'am.
It is important to look at our data so you know your higher scores.
Yeah, because it feels good when you break through a different color zone, for example. That's great to know. Everyone wants a compliment. And your data is a compliment. It shows you what you're good at.
There's like winter, spring, and
Oh, I love that. So you noticed at the bottom of the growth over time chart, it tells the season when you took the benchmark. So you just don't see your data points, you see when they change. But just so you know, it's okay and totally normal if you were making growth and all of a sudden it dips down. And you're like, don't panic. It doesn't mean your brain fell out. I mean, that snort, honestly, but.
This year too, I was really confident because you drop way down from the last test of one year to the first test of the next year. And this year I was able to keep myself in the blue, and I think I dropped 2 points.
Our focus is really on students leading their own work in education and growth, and I think it's really important that kids would just get tests back, hey, I got this score, that's what it is, and they moved on. What she's really done is really looked at it and said, here's where you are really excelling at, and here are some areas that you could really work on. And building those relationships with those students and understanding their data, it really has built a culture of some of our students that are looking at areas that they need and want to grow in and are very excited, and they've actually shared with me, hey, I grew 10 points in this area that I've been struggling with. And I think building that capacity has really been a blessing for us as a district.
After unpacking the results of their previous MAP test, Michelle helps the students set goals to grow their strengths and focus on areas that need attention.
Setting a goal is important because you need to know what your next step is, what you're aspiring to, and it's got to be reasonable and obtainable. So when we set goals, it's more of a conversation about where do you want to end up at the end of this process. And then when they figure out where they want to end up, then we figure out how they're going to get there. You're going to look at your data, and you are going to come up with 2 areas you want to make a big splash. Rowan's goal is to get more than a teen number in her reading by using the rule of thumb. So she was very specific, okay? And that's completely obtainable for her, and it's something she can do, and she has a plan. She's going to use the rule of thumb.
So I know that these approaches are working with the kids because they are definitely more motivated in setting goals for themselves, and they're proud of themselves. Like their excitement shows. They might say like, I received this score on a previous test, but I did better this time because I went back and I reread the question, or I went back and I looked at all my answer choices. And it's like the smallest change, but it has a profound impact on them and their growth mindset, their thinking.
The big one is kids knowing and really targeting the skills deficit that they've been identified through our testing program, and really focusing in with teachers of those skills deficits and how they can get better at those. And definitely seeing it in our MAP data, we're seeing it in our growth charts. We're starting to see some improvement in our state assessments. But overall, even students' attitude towards education, knowing that they are getting better, it really gives them that pride and self-worth that they are growing. And that gives them a lot of confidence to continue on with that work.
I like having the data there. I like having Michelle's coaching. because it helps to guide me in what's best for my kids, what's best for my classroom.
Without map growth, we wouldn't be able to provide specific direct instruction for each kid. It would be a general cover. It gives us a specific direction, skill set, dare I say map. It's like Magellan, it's like GPS.
Educators like Michelle work every day to give students confidence in themselves as they strive to meet and exceed their goals. Map growth gives those teachers a way to show kids how far they've come and what's next on their journey. To find more stories and ideas on how to use NWEA assessments to support learning, visit nwea.org/blog.